Cast, and here we are. We got like 1 minute. There we are. See right there. Nice. All right. Sound like a 7-second delay, all right? All right. Sound like a 7-second delay, all right?
Do I need to turn a little more
Nope.
toward it?
No, I can adjust the computer. I can adjust the computer. So we are live. Fans tune into the live stream, which is what we're doing with Harley Race. Oh, how's everybody doing out there today? We got 2 people watching us right now, so we're going to keep doing this until we have to stop. Live fans tune into the live stream, which is what we're doing with Harley Race. Guys out there who are watching, be sure to go into the chat box there to your right. Ask us whatever questions you'd like to know, and then we can go from there. You got the man, the myth, the legend, 8-time pro wrestling, 8-time NWA World Heavyweight Champion, pro wrestling legend, WWE Hall of Famer Harley Race sitting right here. He is ready to answer any and all questions that you may have that you want to know about. You know, as long as it's within reason, nothing too graphic or anything like that. Champion, pro wrestling legend, WWE Hall of Famer Harley Race sitting right here. He is ready to answer any and all questions that you may have that you want to know about. You know, as long as it's within reason, nothing too graphic or anything like that. Champion, pro wrestling legend, WWE Hall of Famer Harley Race sitting right here. We got 2 more people now getting ready to jump on the stream. We got doubling it up, and guys, we want to make sure that you all know about the event going on this coming Saturday. If you're in the greater St. Louis area, we have a huge event coming up this Saturday at the Race Wrestling Arena in Troy. You get to meet this guy right here. He's at every WLW event that he could possibly make, and you get the opportunity to meet him, watch some of the greatest wrestling action in the Midwest, and you get to see the future of professional wrestling right here at the Race Wrestling Arena. A guy that has been all over the globe multiple times, and he's going to be able to, you're going to be able to meet him. You're going to be able to see the greatest wrestling action that you could ever lay eyes on, because something that he did for a long time. What do you say, 40-ish, give or take a little bit?
Right around that.
This guy, I think you go around and you tell that you've pretty much wrestled in every free country except for Russia and China.
China and Russia.
Yeah, so he knows wrestling, and wrestling is Harley Race. And this coming Saturday night, his promotion, World League Wrestling, will be live at the Race Wrestling Arena. You get the opportunity to see the future of pro wrestling right here in Troy, Missouri. At one point in time, St. Louis area was considered the mecca of the NWA, correct?
It was the headquarters of the NWA for a lot of years.
And you get the opportunity to see exactly what professional wrestling should be, and the wrestlers that you're going to be seeing, that you're going to be watching in the ring. You guys get the opportunity to see what training is like at the Harley Race Wrestling Academy, because he has had a hand in training this up-and-coming generation of professional wrestling superstars. So if you get the opportunity, if you got 10 or 20 bucks to spare, if you want to bring you and your friend or you and your wife as a date night, make sure you come out here to the Race Wrestling Arena in Troy. Go to harleyrace.com. We're going to be posting that link right now to purchase tickets online. And that way you'll be able to just go out there and at the convenience of yourself, purchase tickets online, show up Saturday night right here at the Race Wrestling Arena, and just have a great time. Sit back and watch a great time. We actually have a fan. We got Karen Kadich, who is one of the great fans here in Troy. She said that she wanted to wish you a happy belated birthday. She said she knows you have a lot of road stories, but she was wondering, who was your favorite person to travel with?
Well, my favorite person to travel with was me.
The man, the myth, the legend, traveled all over this country, all over the globe, really, Karen. And a lot of the times, because when he was champion, he would rarely get a day or two off. And so he would go out there and move from place to place, from location to location, spending about 2 to 3 weeks at a time in those areas as when you were champion and traveling?
At the majority of it, that was about it. I have traveled virtually every free country on the face of this earth at some point in time and performed at the business that I love more than any other thing on the face of God's green earth was wrestling. And I proved it.
Day in and day out. Karen, when he was traveling as NWA World Heavyweight Champion, whatever reign you want to talk about, I mean, he was in such a high demand at that point in time. He would spend 2 to 3 weeks in an area and really wouldn't get a chance to travel with a whole bunch of people. Every now and then he would. In fact, there's a story, and correct me if I'm wrong, that's how you developed such a good relationship with the now former WWE World Heavyweight Champion, Triple H. And you offered to help him and give him a ride, I believe, back to a hotel from the arena or vice versa, when you were managing in WCW. And that led to a great friendship between yourself and him. Is that correct?
Yes. And I've been friends with him ever since. He is a great, great guy. He is one of the best wrestlers that are still around today. And he was smart enough to marry one of the
head females in this industry, huh?
That's right.
Not, those, I have personally met those and the entire McMahon family, and I'm sure he can attest more to this than I can. The entire McMahon family is just a great family to know and to socialize with, and ranging from Stephanie's grandfather, who I truthfully never had a chance to meet, Vince McMahon Sr.,
yes, to
now Stephanie and Triple H himself. Everybody in that family is just an extremely giving people. They're really good people. They're giving, and they care about everybody that came before them and contributed to what this industry is now, professional wrestling, sports entertainment. This great sport is it lacks a lot of things, and one of the top things, and again, I'm sure you can attest to this, is having the ability to go out there and say, well, XYZ person, they're genuinely nice. They're good people, and Triple H, Stephanie McMahon, as the people that you watch on television, they're giving, and they are keeping what he did for 40 plus years up and going to this day.
They're keeping it alive, and along with her father, they are performing around the world as great as it could possibly be. And to this day, they still are doing it just exactly like that.
Fans, if you have any questions you'd like to ask, please make sure you log on and you type in the questions. Be able to get to have a kind of up close and personal question and answer session with the 8-time NWA World's Heavyweight Champion Harley Race. Let's see. Mad Conservative Crime Fighter has a question. He says it's been suggested multiple times that Dreamwave Wrestling out of LaSalle, I'm assuming that's probably Illinois, I think, right? LaSalle, Illinois, does that ring a bell to you?
Yeah, I think that's right.
Which is the highest profile. If I would have finished reading the question, it would have answered it for me. LaSalle, which is the highest profile promotion in Central Illinois, should bring you in as a special guest. The fear is fans in LaSalle wouldn't know who Harley is. Well, if the fans in LaSalle, Illinois don't know who Harley Race is, then they don't know professional wrestling. And I'm not judging them, but the way I look at it is Harley Race is professional wrestling, and professional wrestling is Harley Race. Anybody who's a fan at some point in their life has seen either Harley Race or something that Harley Race has invented. Let's see, I'm trying to talk and read at the same time. I can't do that too much very well, though. It says, but the fans would really benefit from having Harley Race appear. And I would agree, because a lot of what you see today would not be around if Harley Race didn't contribute in the fashion that he did. You know, the vertical suplex, you used that, you created that, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes.
He beat Dory Funk in, I believe it was 1973 at Memorial Hall in Kansas City for the very first time as champion for the NWA. Let's see. I would like to see Leland wrestle on a Dreamwave show. Well, I can make that happen really quickly, and you never know if this handsome young gentleman to my left, who just celebrated his birthday 2 days ago, wants to come and tag along for a ride. We can try and make something like that happen. Just tell Dreamwave Wrestling to get a hold of the WLW office, and we'll be happy to set something up if it's possible. A lot of what you guys see on professional wrestling today, you know, what we were just talking about, Triple H. A lot of what Triple H does is came from
He
men.
stole it from me.
Yeah, the high knee that Triple H does is very often repeated by color commentators. That move, the high knee, came from this guy right here, and it did. If you go back a lot and look at a lot of the footage that is out there of Harley Race, he used that, and Triple H, being the smart wrestler that he is and forever will be, took one of the moves and made it his own, and I'm fairly certain that he would himself would say that Harley Race is a huge influence on his career, and as is he with other people in professional wrestling. Fans, this Saturday, again, we're going to be right here at the Race Wrestling Arena, an arena that is built and named after this gentleman right here. It isn't me, that's for sure. You get the opportunity to meet 8-time NWA World's Heavyweight Champion, the WWE Hall of Famer, Professional Wrestling Hall of Famer, and so many other accolades that this guy right here, a guy that I'm lucky enough to call Dad, has accrued to. And
King of the Ring for Vince McMahon.
Yep. I believe it was 88, if I'm not mistaken, King of the Ring. And, you know, he's contributed so much to professional wrestling, and the fans in this area have been very receptive to WLW. They have been coming to our events saying nothing but good things, and we want to keep that going on. World League Wrestling is the baby of him right here, and WLW's been around for almost 2016 now, so since 1999, so 17 years, and we're still going strong. We're not showing any signs of slowing down, that's for sure. You can follow him Harley Race on Twitter. And basically, he just tells me what to do, what to put on there, and I make sure that it gets on the internet. Go to Twitter and search for 8 times NWA champion. I believe that's what it is. And you can follow him, catch where he's going to be at, just follow a great professional wrestling. Is Harley Race at his events to meet? Yes, he is at every WLW event that he could possibly make. Some days it's harder to do that, and it just depends on the location and stuff like that. You can just do it over there. We'll pull this to you. No, and tell you what, we're going to take just a quick break, really quick, and we'll be back in just a couple of minutes. All right. So, guys, we want to, while he takes a quick break, we're going to talk about, the contributions that Harley Race has made. Let's see, FYI, me and Patrick Brandmeier needs the WLW results from April 2nd, and that was in St. Genevieve. We held the St. Genevieve Classic right there in that town, a great event that took place. It was roughly 2 weeks ago now at the St. Genevieve High School. We were doing a fundraising opportunity for the St. Genevieve FCCLA, and we had a battle royal to kick it off that had myself, Superstar Steve, Kicking Kyle Roberts, Kareem Brigante, and Roy Lewis in the ring. And the winner of that battle royal got to get a bye and go straight to the finals of that St. Genevieve Classic, and Kareem Brigante won that. And then it was myself versus Kicking Kyle Roberts. Unfortunately, I lost that match. Definitely would have had it in the bag had Superstar Steve not stuck his nose where it belonged, where it didn't belong, rather. Superstar Steve defeated Roy Lewis, and so the main event saw Kareem Brigante, Kyle Roberts, and Superstar Steve in a 3-way main event for the first ever St. Genevieve Classic. Kareem Brigante won that match, and he did a great job, as some of his actions may not have been very, very well liked. Regardless of that fact, he won that and is now moving on to more bigger things here in WLW. We got training going on right here at the Harley Race Wrestling Academy. Right now, the guys are out there. We're doing conditioning drills, as I sit out here and trying to monitor and make sure nobody gets killed out there. Not that it ever happens. No, we keep a close eye on things right here at the Harley Race Wrestling Academy, and the place where the future stars are created, because you're not just handed things. You don't go out there and a day later call yourself a professional wrestler, much to the dismay of people who want to get inside this business. It was actually, I'm sorry, it was 5 matches, Mad Conservative Crime Fighter. The 5th match also was a girls match. It was Miss Natural versus Monica, Miss Monica. And Miss Natural won that match as well. Sorry, I apologize for that. But yeah, the Harley Race Wrestling Academy is probably the best wrestling academy one could ever lay eyes on. And yes, I know it sounds biased, but you really have to get in here, and if you have the drive, the passion, and the desire to become a professional wrestler, this school is the best, and it's the best for a reason. Again, I know it sounds biased, but you have to experience a good wrestling school, and then you also have to experience a bad wrestling school to know how good it is here. Currently, right now, we have about 12 guys out, and girls for that matter, out in the ring, and we're doing conditioning drills, like I said. After this, we're going to have some extremely tough practice matches going on, and can't really go too much into detail past that point. But if you have the drive, the ambition, and the desire to become a professional wrestler, this is the place where you want to go. The Harley Race Wrestling Academy, the best wrestling school that one could ever want to participate in. There's a lot of schools out there. We all know that. The Harley Race Wrestling Academy is centrally located right here in the greater St. Louis area. And, you know, people that live in, say, North Carolina or Pennsylvania or Florida or Tennessee or Illinois or anywhere, we all know that there's wrestling schools out there. But if you want to make sure that you get trained right, don't pick the place that's closest to you because it's convenient. There are wrestling schools out there that are cheaper in price than us. And professional wrestling, the price for schooling has pretty much been the same for a long, long time. When I got started in professional wrestling, my dad here sent me to Charlotte, North Carolina to train under a guy named George South. And George told me one thing, and it's kind of stuck in my head for a long, long time, that inflation it really hasn't hit the world of professional wrestling, because it was $3,000 back then and it's $3,000 now for a good wrestling school. And that's what we charge. Coming in here and getting a great education in professional wrestling really doesn't have a price on it. You can't match that. But the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, sent his 2 sons here. Ricky, the Dragon Steamboat, who we'll be seeing here in just a little over a month, sent his son here. Kurt Hennig sent his son and daughter here. Joe Hennig, Curtis Axel, who is now a major player on WWE Monday Night Raw and WWE SmackDown, came right here from the Harley Race Wrestling Academy. CM Punk came through here and wrestled a little bit for World League Wrestling. Ace Steel, also the same. There is a lot of people that have went through the Harley Race Wrestling Academy and has done a lot of good things. People like Trevor Murdoch. People like Trevor Murdoch, for example, went on to hold the WWE Tag Team Championships not once, not twice, but 3 times over. A guy who just made his Monday Night Raw, Thursday Night SmackDown debut, Simon Gotch, came from the Harley Race Wrestling Academy. And he is doing extremely well for himself, and hats off to him. And if he watches it, Simon, you did a great job, and just want to let you know that we're both here, and we're both very proud of your accomplishments and continued success, and I hope you do very well within the ranks of WWE and professional wrestling as a whole. Let's see, other people that came through here. Brian Breaker, who is a former NXT talent, is now doing really good things down in the state of Oklahoma and the greater area of that state. Ryan Tran, John Cohn, both still current WWE referees, and they are doing really good things up in that company and continue to have the success because of the guy that trained them, and that's the gentleman sitting right here to my left, who is going to be done taking his break here in just a couple of minutes. And there's going to be a whole lot more things come out of Harley Race's Wrestling Academy because of the relationships that we have with some of the major players in this company. And the WWE is one of them. Pro Wrestling Noah is another one. New Japan Pro Wrestling is just another company that we continue to do business with, and we are making those relationships stronger day by day. And case in point, you guys will be the first to find out that August 22nd through August 26th, we're going to be holding the annual week-long training camp. Last year, it was the best one we've had in honestly close to 6 years. Not to take anything away from the previous years, but this year's training camp is going to be one that you will make sure you want to be a part of if you have the desire and the drive to make yourself better, to get involved in professional wrestling, because it's going to only get better from here, guys. Let's see, May 27th and May 28th, we have a beginner's camp that's going to be targeted for the people that have no experience. You come in here and you get your feet wet. You get about 4 to 5 hours worth of training each day, 2 days. And you're going to get in here and you're going to be ran hard. You're going to be able to see exactly what the training is like right here at the Harley Race Wrestling Academy. And if I'm not mistaken, you're about done with your break, huh?
Yes.
All right. Guys, we got back the man, the myth, the legend, Harley Race, and he's going to be taking any questions that you guys have right now. So, guys, make sure if you have any questions for the 8-time NWA World's Heavyweight Champion, make sure that you get an opportunity to ask him. Here he is right here to my left. And trust me, that's his happy face. He's just having a great time. Yeah, go ahead and fire more questions, Matt Conservative. You know, that's what we're here to do. We're here just to try and give an avenue for the fans to sit here and discuss things, World League Wrestling, Harley Race's career, you know, anything that you guys come to mind, as long as it's within reason and not, you know, X-rated, I guess, for lack of a better word.
It's the only job I've ever had since I was 16.
And the success, the level of success that he has reached is parallel to nobody. We have guys from all over the world come to attend, you know, going back to the Harley Race Wrestling, the week-long training camp. We have guys from all over the world attend. Last year, we had people from Britain. We had people from Canada. We had four individuals from Italy come over here. And not to mention New Japan Pro Wrestling, not to mention Pro Wrestling Noah. And, of course, the one of your most famous opponents, the 16-time World Heavyweight Champion, Ric Flair. And
16 times.
Yeah, 16 times World Heavyweight Champion. But, you know, many people consider the 8 times World Heavyweight Champion the greatest for a reason. And
that's because I was.
Yeah, well, there's no denying that. You can go and look up any history book. The first major event that was broadcasted across the globe in a pay-per-view fashion was Starrcade of 1983. And that had the main event pitted as Harley Race versus Ric Flair. Let's see. This gentleman right here, he asked, this may be beyond your scope. Your thoughts on a country fair bringing in a federation where none of them are trained, yet fair officials have blown off criticism, bringing them back for a second year. That's not really our place to answer that type of stuff because, you know, at least from my perspective, I'm not here. I'm not there, you know, witnessing what's going on. You know, can witness what's going on within the realms of WLW and what he tells me to look after. Any response from you on that one? The gentleman was saying a lot of these, there's some places out there like county fairs. They bring in a local hometown promotion, you know, maybe a outside promotion, smaller, and none of the wrestlers are properly trained. Yet fair officials bring them back for a second year in a row. Do you have any response to that? Or
well, again, I haven't saw these people, so I can't really say whether they were trained or whether they weren't trained. I have nothing to do with the organization that's bringing them in. The people that are watching them should have, I don't know, what's the word, being able to see what's there and know whether it's coming from an organization that was physically able to train them.
Credibility.
Yeah, that's it.
But you know, here's a suggestion. If you see that and you see those trainers, you know, you see the students, if they have the potential, if they have the desire, and share the same enthusiasm of professional wrestling that we do, send them to the Harley Race Wrestling Academy. If they love this industry and they think that they want to try and pursue this and make this a career like he did for 40 plus years, if not, well, he's still in this today. There's no 40 plus years. He's still doing this in 2016 when he started in a very young age. Send him to the Harley Race Wrestling Academy. We'll train them right. We'll get them going in the right direction so they're not going out there and misrepresenting what professional wrestling is, because that's a common misconception, is people go out there that are not trained. People go out there, embarrass themselves or injure themselves for that matter too. And
us along with them.
That's right, because we're all professional wrestlers. And what he did for a long, long time, people cannot say that Harley Race wasn't a man's man. They can't say that. Having the ability to be trained by a WWE Hall of Famer, having the ability to be trained by a professional wrestling legend like him, and because there's nobody like him, and I mean that in the most positive way possible, not just because he's sitting here within arm's distance of me, but because I mean it. This gentleman, you know, you want to go out there and be trained, take the time, take the effort, make it happen for yourself, because you will appreciate it later on, maybe sooner than later, who knows. Karen Kadich, who again was a huge fan of ours right here in the Troy, Missouri area. Her husband Martin is training to be a referee here at the Harley Race Wrestling Academy. She'd like to know, can you remember anything about your first match? Who was that against?
First match where? In the carnivals that I wrestled in the first pro wrestling that I wrestled for any organization. You know, there's umpteen jillion ways of looking at which one was first.
Yeah, there's a lot of, I guess, definitions of first match, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm sure it was probably like a lot of people's first match, you know, and I'm not one to put words into your mouth or anything like that, but it was just, I'm sure being able to get into the ring and be in front of a crowd, that was just, you can't really put that into words. You have to be able to just do it. And I'm sure it was nervousness. I'm sure that you were probably messed up. I know I still do to this day. But regardless of that fact, you went up from that point all the way to making your reign as NWA World Heavyweight Champion 8 times over. The very first ever United States Heavyweight Champion is sitting right here. Your first NWA match, National Wrestling Alliance match. Do you remember who that was against?
No.
I don't either, to be honest with you.
There's just, you know, too many years and half a jillion matches since. So remembering back during those years of who I wrestled and when is virtually impossible for me to do.
You have, I think, roughly your first match was either 57 or 58. The year escapes me at this point in time. So you're talking about a long length of time that you were actively competing in the ring.
Almost a half a century.
Yeah. I think your first opponent, Karen, actually, I remember now his first opponent, and it's a running gag between me and him, and it was Abe Lincoln. But no, well, if you actually search on the internet, there is a website, Karen, that I'll throw out towards you, and it's the midatlanticgateway.net. And that website actually chronicles his entire career and documents almost every single match. I printed it out, and at home I have a photo album with that list in it, and it's 33 pages long. So there's quite a bit of matches going on throughout the length of his career. Not every single match, but almost all of them were documented in this thing that I have. I'll bring it up here sometime and let you look through it. Brian Kelly, who is a guy that helps promote wrestling here in the Midwest. You've met him before, a guy that actually created, if I can pull this out here, sorry for the shaking camera, this book right here, The Missouri Wrestling Revival. Every year, Brian Kelly comes out with one. And he did the same thing for 2015, and it basically captures exactly what happened in the year before it. We're in 2016. Brian Kelly did it for 2015, so on and so forth. He wants to know what has been your favorite moment while promoting World League Wrestling, WLW.
While promoting it or wrestling it?
Promoting World League Wrestling. Since you've started this company, what's been your favorite moment?
I don't have just a favorite moment. I guess would have to say is to being able to keep it going and existing like it is today.
World League Wrestling was started back in 1999, I believe in the Springfield area. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure that's where it was started at. And since then, WLW has done a lot of good things. We do a lot of fundraising events, and we still try to give back to the community, because without the fans contributing and coming to watch, whether they loved them or they hated them, Harley Race, there would not be a Harley Race. There would not be a professional wrestling business that we are in today. So, and I'm not trying to put words into your mouth, and correct me if I'm wrong, but when you started World League Wrestling, this was an avenue to not only keep pro wrestling alive, especially through your eyes, but also to give back to the community by still having the sport as you know it and as you competed in alive today, and having the ability for the fans to see that, to witness it firsthand.
And to give it all to virtually not all the way to the East Coast and not all the way to the West Coast, but we were going from almost side to side and from top to bottom. And I was proud of what we were able to do and what we're continuing to do today.
And when you hear the words that come out of his mouth, know that it's the truth, because there's a lot of people out there who say one thing and maybe mean another. But World League Wrestling,
not that person.
I certainly hope not, because if not, then we got a whole nother live streaming episode to go through. But a gentleman asked, a mad conservative crime fighter asked, are you doing any more events for Western Illinois, which is still a wrestling desert, as he says? I'm assuming that means not a whole lot of wrestling is taking place in that area.
I can't say for absolute sure, but I'm 99.9% sure that we're going to be all over the Midwest, and that's included in.
We strive and we aim to keep professional wrestling alive. It's something that he did his entire life, and is something that I'm still able to be a part of, and I want to be a part of, because otherwise I wouldn't be here. WLW is continuing to provide professional wrestling, and not to have it confused with sports entertainment, and because I don't want to make it sound like sports entertainment is derogatory or negative. It's a little bit different field of view. But WLW keeps professional wrestling alive. And if it wasn't for him, if it wasn't for the people that wrestled in his era and came before him and after him, there would not be a WLW. There would not be fans supporting him. There would not be fans supporting WLW as it is today. And for that, I'm definitely greatly appreciative of that. And I can almost safely assume that he's going to say the exact same thing. Gentleman by the name of Crimson Chin says, happy belated birthday, Harley. What's your opinion on WWE removing the term diva and resparking the WWE Women's Championship? They're calling it now the WWE Women's Championship, because before they were calling it the Divas Championship. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, a name's a name. When you got two young ladies out there in that ring performing for the people that have paid to see them, and they're doing it as well as any two men. You know, wrestling's wrestling, and if they're good at it and they're proving their way, more power to them.
And the ladies, divas, women, whatever you want to call them, as he just said, a name is a name. Perception is in the eye of the beholder, I think. It depends on each person individually, because everybody's going to have their own opinion. I guess they're all entitled to. So those females that you see on television today, or even at your local events, a lot of them have busted their hind end to at least get to the level of where they're at. And if they haven't, you know, eventually they'll fade off right into the sun, just like everybody else. But the ones that put their
and they're getting hurt just like anyone else that's in and out of that ring at the particular time that they're there. A body slam's a body slam.
Mm-hmm.
It jars you from top to bottom.
And
it happens to them just like it happens to the guys that are in there.
That's right. And going in there unprepared and not trained is probably one of the dumbest things that one could ever do, because not only are they at risk of injuring themselves, but also other people. And that's why we really stress, go to a school that is credible. And yeah, I'll say it, go to the Harley Race Wrestling Academy. Go to harleyrace.com. All of our contact information is in there. Don't pick a place that's close to home just because it's convenient. Don't pick a place because it's, you know, $20, $30 a month. Do your homework. Do the best thing in the best interest of yourself. Now, there's another gentleman who wrote, "Hi, Harley. What did you think when you heard HBK Shawn Michaels picked you as his one wrestler that he wishes he could have wrestled that he didn't get a chance to?"
Well, he wanted to be in the ring with the world's best.
Shawn Michaels is, a WWE Hall of Famer himself.
Yes.
And is considered by a whole onslaught of people that he is probably one of the top 10 professional wrestlers ever. And to have somebody like him, and this is from my standpoint, not yours, but I'm sure you really share somewhat of the same thought process. To have somebody like him say, if I could have one chance of wrestling somebody, who would it be? He picked Harley Race. Now, I'm sure that at least makes you feel good in that.
He knows who the world's best is.
Shawn Michaels is he's a legend, like I said, in himself. And when I hear that he said that about him,
I appreciate it very much.
Right. That's just shows the amount of respect that goes on and is geared towards him because of what he did in this industry. Would you have wanted to face Shawn Michaels?
I would have wanted to face anyone, whether it was Shawn Michaels or anyone just like him. If I was still involved in wrestling, I would like to face whoever is in there. And Shawn, you better thank and pray God that Harley Race is not in there.
You just saw about a week and some change ago, you saw Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 32.
Yes.
It was right now they're touting it as the largest crowd for a WrestleMania crowd, live event crowd like that. They're advertising it as I think a little over 100,000 people. Let's scale back.
Well, that beat the one that I headlined at 96,000. So I guess there's been somebody that finally beat it.
Well, he was there that day.
But I've had many, many years. That's still
yeah, WrestleMania 3, Pontiac Silverdome in Detroit, Michigan, if I'm not mistaken, right?
That's right.
And you faced the Junkyard Dog there, and you were one of the top matches on that card for that evening. And a lot of people still look at that event, WrestleMania 3, not just your match, but that event as a whole, as one of the greatest WrestleManias of all time.
What do you mean was?
Still is. My mistake. There's a lot of great matches that came out of that, and yours is still regarded as one of the top ones there, if not the top one, depending on how close I'm sitting to you. And I guess let's talk about the very first ever pay-per-view that took place in professional wrestling, and that was Starrcade 1983, Thanksgiving night, Greensboro, North Carolina, at the Greensboro Coliseum. Yourself versus Ric Flair. It took place that night for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship, and it was a match that was several months in the making. It was a cage match that night, and again, it was the very first ever pay-per-view to that magnitude. It was sent out to actually what was the arena in Atlanta that it was not syndicated, but it was also aired at. It was the Omni, I think. Was it that one? I can't remember that one right at the top of my head anyway. That event set the tone for professional wrestling, and if you ask anybody, I think the WWE even today still acknowledges that match as setting the bar for what not only main events should be, but for wrestling cards as a whole should be. And the place sold out of tickets. There wasn't even standing room only that night. It was sold out. Harley Race versus Ric Flair took place in Greensboro, North Carolina at the Greensboro Coliseum. And that match made history and changed history. And so, guys, if you want to go out and you want to watch a match that is above the rest, watch that one. Especially from a young person who want to possibly get involved in professional wrestling, watch that one, because you will see two men go out there and one man leave. And they sold out the Greensboro Coliseum that Thanksgiving night, 1983. Let's see. Another gentleman asked Matt, Conservative Crime Fighter, he said, have you ever had a match against the guy that was also known as the King in the WWE, the WWF at that time as well, and maybe in Memphis as well, Jerry the King Lawler? I know you have.
I've kicked his rear end more times than he cares to remember.
Jerry Lawler is a heck of a guy, and you know he's done a lot for this industry as well as yourself. And the Memphis area is definitely a good area, and his name is synonymous, much like his is right here in the St. Louis area. You know, he's the Harley Race of Memphis, and to give that type of similarity there. Maybe not exactly like that, but kind of close.
He's not as good by any.
But we want to thank you guys who are coming in and who are asking the questions. So the 8-time NWA World Heavyweight Champion Harley Race, the WWE Hall of Famer, lest we forget the what was it? King of the Ring.
Yes.
And there's a whole lot of accolades that I ran out of paper with to try and write down.
You can go on and on and on, but they're all there. They're just saying I'm the best.
You're at the top of that, right? All right. There's a person who came in here and asked, simply corny 24 corny. Do you think Roman Reigns, who is one of the top guys in professional wrestling with WWE right now, whose uncle, I believe, is Sika, one of the Samoans in the history of this business. Do you think Roman Reigns will beat AJ Styles, who is one of the most widely accepted superstars in professional wrestling? Do you think that Roman Reigns will beat AJ at the the next WWE pay-per-view that's labeled Payback?
Truthfully, it's kind of a toss-up. Both of them are very good at what they do. If either one of them screw up, the guy is going to take that fall and he's going to win that match. So it's just kind of a flip of a coin on who's
going to be the better, huh?
Who's there at that particular point in time.
AJ Styles was a tremendous star in Japan before he signed with the WWE, but
I was the biggest.
Yeah, you're still very well regarded in Japan as a whole, not just with one particular company, but I think it was 2014. You actually made a trip to Japan for about 3 weeks, and you got to see a lot of the fans there in Japan. And I know they were very happy to see you because Harley Race contributed a heck of a lot to professional wrestling, not only as a whole, but also in Japan. One of his greatest rivalries in that country was against Giant Baba.
Yes.
And that match still is their series of matches is still very talked about today. Let's see. Ninja Turtles Mick said, who are some of your favorite wrestlers in today's generation as you see of professional wrestling?
There's too many to sit here and talk about. There's no just particular one that's jumped in there and in that level, but there's a lot of great ones that are still there.
Let's see. Another person said, it was Simply Corny again. He said, Harley Race versus John Cena.
Oh, Harley Race.
All right. Being a living legend, OMR said, being a living legend yourself, how do you feel Vince McMahon treats the older generation, whether in person or business-wise?
Well, he treats me great, both in person and still in the wrestling world and business-wise, because I send him different people to wrestle fairly often.
I haven't had too much interaction with Vince McMahon. You, on the other side of the coin, have. Vince, the Vince McMahon that you fans know today started in professional wrestling at a very young age, kind of like yourself. His father, Vince McMahon Sr., ran, at the time it was the WWF, and then later transitioned into the WWF. And Vince McMahon has been involved in this business for a long, long time. And the amount of respect that he's
since the day he was born.
Yeah, he's pretty much born right into it.
Yeah.
And since the day that like he said, he was born, the level of success that the McMahon family has achieved, they don't have to give the respect to people, because of the level of where they're at. They choose to, and it is very evident between not only Vince McMahon but also his entire family with Stephanie McMahon and Triple H, the whole WWE as a whole is continue to give respect towards not just yourself, but also the other wrestling legends that came from your era, time before that, and then after you as well.
and they're still doing it today. The McMahon family has been involved in wrestling. I think I've been involved in it a long time, but they almost double that year
from start to finish.
from start. And they're far a long ways from being finished.
I believe you're probably correct on that. There was a fan who said, "What is your biggest takeaway from your experience in Japan?" As far as, when you went over to Japan, the best, I guess, what's the best part about it?
Best part about it is the fact that they have pro wrestling in Japan, and they contribute to the people of the towns and different parts of the country that we're all in. And they run wrestling still to this day as well as anyone else that's ever been involved in wrestling. And I like the Japan organizations.
Yeah, and professional wrestling in Japan as a whole is to me, I love watching it. And
excuse me, I'm gonna have a
go ahead. No, I don't think anybody's going to argue with that. That gentleman who also asked that question, Chris Apollon, I think is what his name is, said also, what are the biggest differences between wrestling in Japan versus wrestling in the United States? What do you, from your perspective?
There's really not a whole lot of difference once you enter the ring. When you enter the ring, wrestling is wrestling pretty much no matter where it's at, all around the globe. And there's a lot of wrestling in Japan that is very, very good.
Mm-hmm.
But also over here, there's a lot of wrestling that's great. Yeah. As you can see, there's been several wrestlers out of Japan that have come over here and have done very good.
Agreed. I mean, still to this day, too.
Yes.
You just saw on Monday Night Raw, you just saw two guys, Carl Anderson and former WWE superstar, as well as, I guess now again, WWE superstar Luke Gallows, who made a tremendous name for themselves in New Japan Pro Wrestling for several years. Now they are here in the United States, and this past Monday night that has made their Monday Night Raw debut or re-debut, depending on the person who you're looking at. Crimson Chin asked, you mentioned wrestling in carnivals a little while ago. Can you speak more on that? Do you have any tales or stories that come to mind about wrestling in carnivals?
Oh, wrestling in carnivals, you wound up wrestling the top guy, as he had to win several different matches to get to where he came in the ring with me. And likewise, I still had to wrestle in hope that I was still the winner and would be the guy that would meet whoever that was. Wrestling, to me, is still the greatest sport on the face of God's green earth.
And I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who would probably, well, most definitely agree with you on that. There's another gentleman who asked, and this would probably be the last question as we got to wrap this up. When talking about, just a few minutes ago, you said listening to the crowd. Actually, I'm sorry, I misread that. When wrestlers talk about listening to the crowd while executing a match, what do they mean by that psychologically? If you care to go into that.
It's too much of a laid out thing to be able to explain it all here.
Mm-hmm.
But if the crowd is cheering, booing, or whatever, it means that you're performing your match right and you're headed toward your victory, which is the most important thing of all.
All right, and the last question here, Ninja Turtles Mick. What is both of your guys' favorite match of all time, if you could choose one?
I really and truly don't have a favorite. The reason for that is I won the world's title a lot of times. So any one of those would fall into that category.
Right. You won it a lot of times, like you said, 8 times. From my standpoint, any match that did involve him is good for me to watch because of the learning experience. But also, I like to watch people like Kurt Angle, people like Chris Benoit, any one of the Hart family members, myself. I have a variety of different types of wrestlers and different wrestlers that I like to watch. And anything that I can learn from is what I'm going to watch. It's whether it's what to do or what not to do, or anything of the sorts.
And he also had better be watching a lot of the films with me.
I have to get out that machine that plays the old VCR thing. But guys, we want to tell you how much we appreciate your interaction. We're going to be doing this again very soon. I'm sure these guys appreciate your time very much. I know a few of them have said thanks for your time. And I look forward to doing this with you again this Saturday night if you're in the greater St. Louis area, or even if you're not and want to come and drive down and check out this awesome place we call the Race Wrestling Arena. Come out, take your time, make a day out of it. Make a day out of the whole weekend if you like. $10 will get you into the Race Wrestling Arena. You get to see the future of professional wrestling, get to meet the 8-time NWA World Heavyweight Champion. He has some new pictures, new 8x10 pictures that he'll be glad to sign, and they actually look really awesome, as well as a few other things. So make sure we'll see you this Saturday night, May the 14th. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat will be here at the Race Wrestling Arena doing an autograph session. Being a part of this event, to what degree, I can't tell you. You have to come this Saturday night to find out. And a whole lot more, guys. Thanks very much and have a great day. We'll talk to you soon.